you remember the first time you did? You
Of course.
at Echo?
At Echo, right?
Remember that?
Didn't Khan like throw it in your mouth or something?
Dude.
Called his mom.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember that.
Bro, I'll tell you what happened. Is this recording?
Yeah.
So it was Millennium 2019, and it was gave it to me, and I was scared to do it, right? Because I mean, it's a right, so you don't know how it's gonna affect you. And I was like, fuck it, popped it in, waited 40 minutes. I had to take a shit, and then I came out, and at Echo the green lasers, right? They became like I could smell it. It was so clear, and I was like, what the fuck? That's kind of weird. And the next thing you know, it was like a domino effect of the effects of the. So it was like crazy confidence, right? Remember who I DM'd?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I DM'd this girl, and I was like,
Is it the same girl
Yeah,
that you took on
same.
to get crepes?
we actually never got to go out. But I don't want to name drop because I don't think it's necessary. But you guys know who it is.
Female.
Yeah, it was a girl. So anyway, so I DM'd her. Let's go ahead and hang out next week if you're free. We can get coffee or something. She left me on red, but that's besides the point. And then I had crazy confidence. I talked to every single person at Echo. I'm a roamer when it comes to.
Oh man, you one of those.
Yeah, I'm a roamer. Like I need to be by myself. And then obviously it's a love drug, right? So I did end up calling my mom, my whole family actually. I called my sister too. I was like, hey, Ma, I love you. Thank you for taking care of me and 3 other kids.
Oh my God.
And she was like, okay, are you okay? And I'm like, no, but I'm okay now. And then that's a story. That's a story of me the first time on.
Now
And
you missed out some things. All right, one thing, you was like sweating profusely, man.
But that's
And you
normal,
like this,
though.
you like and I was like,
You were jumping up and down like
He
crazy.
was going like crazy, and then he was on. There was a Snapchat. He's like, "I love you all," and it's like one of those Snapchats that are like, or those like it's like shaking.
So you have
so
to-
it's so blurry. He was just like, "I love everyone. I love everyone," and he just like this. I was like, "Oh my
So
God!"
you have to understand, like, I didn't have like a babysitter, right? Because I was roaming, so I didn't know.
You didn't let us babysit you,
Right. So like I didn't know that obviously the effects of it, the effects of the I didn't know that like what I was doing is probably going to be very obvious to people who were sober, right? And
Yeah, but you don't care about that.
yeah, but like
Well, none of us were sober.
like no one was sober, and it's also my fault too, right? Because I the drug just took me, and after that day is when I found out how to really act on it, right? But I feel like it's a rite of passage for anyone who does.
You're so much more different than everybody else who's like their first time. Like you were like, wow, because bro, when you went off and did your own thing, you came back. You like I saw you come back. I looked at you, was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but you guys know me sober, right? Like you guys know the personality that I have sober. I
Yeah.
just felt like they just took it times 10,
Yeah.
right? And I'm not a different person on it. I think that it's one of my favorite things to do, right? Sparingly.
Good hobby.
Only twice a month. Only twice a year, though. Only twice a year.
Sparingly and in moderation. But I do think I have a theory that could cure world peace. But that's some talk for another day.
Hey, man, that's-
But yeah, that was my first time using E, and I've never been like that again. I've contained myself.
what's up, Barry? Welcome to Talk Rise to Me. I'm Jesse.
I'm Angela.
Brad.
What's up, guys? I'm Reza.
I'm Jay.
Reza,
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That was
let's
a great
get your
discussion.
joint in.
Oh man.
No, it's
I'm
not.
nervous about what
Yeah,
he's going
no,
to
no, no.
He's about to draw a Venn diagram. And we have this over here.
You guys-
mixing with this, with the up in this joint
Yeah.
downtown.
My mind's really, it's a lot. I'm a Cancer, I feel a lot. So,
These are my emotions.
okay, so there's something that everybody in this room should or want to be doing right now, but you're not.
Okay.
What is stopping you from doing that thing?
That's deep, bro.
Let me start. I can start with that.
Okay.
I will start.
Like start with like what is this thing that you've always wanted to do?
I'm not gonna put it out there. I don't want to put it out there just because people tend to ruin.
Okay.
When you
Okay.
put things out there like that, people will always shoot holes into it, or why it won't work.
Okay, so you can answer the second part. Of the
Yeah, I
question?
will answer the second part. I guess I would say it's twofold, right? When you want to do something, it's not that you want to be accepted per se. It's when you do something, it's like, oh, I want to be appreciated for what I'm doing.
Are you saying do something new, or are you saying do something? Anything?
Do something that you're doing. You want to be, or in my mind, maybe this is like a good thing or bad thing, you know, that I'm looking or I want something to be appreciated or whatnot. And it's like doing that. One, the first part is to do so. It's going to take a lot of money.
Okay.
Well, not a lot of money, but a good bit of money. And as a kid, I learned money in a wrong way.
Sure.
You know, I learned as, oh my God, it's so valuable. You shouldn't spend it on stuff. Like you should be very frugal.
Like you should be very risk averse.
Yeah, be very risk adverse. It wasn't until recently that my mom and dad literally sat me down like, no, take your money and spend it on stuff that you want to. Like don't spend on dumb stuff. But if you think this money can take you somewhere, spend it. Like don't like spend it on stuff that matters. Don't spend on a bunch of BS that in a month you're never gonna use it again. Like if it can help you grow, spend that money. So I'm like, okay. So I was like, okay, so that's kind of rewind. I'm slowly working that way, but that's one obstacle is the money. The second is whether it will be accepted and appreciated.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I realize the thing I'm going against that, like I said, it's taking time, is the people that don't appreciate it, I shouldn't worry about.
Sure.
But that takes the time to get over. Like the people that don't appreciate it. And that's fine. And then people who do appreciate it will appreciate it versus whether or not it's one person, the one person, which is myself, 2 people or 1,000 people. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
You know, that's what's stopping me is those 2 things.
Okay.
And the third thing is just, no, that's just those 2 things.
So you're saying whatever this thing that you feel like you should be doing or start doing, you're saying that the barrier to entry for you is you needing to unlearn financial
Bad
dogmas.
It's basically like
you've grown
scarcity.
up with. Yeah.
Yeah.
The scarcity mindset.
Yes.
And I think both of them are about scarcity. I think one obviously is money, and the other one basically not caring as much about your non-supporters.
Yes. It's like
Yeah.
the people who don't care. I shouldn't be worried about
Yeah.
those people that don't
Yeah.
care or won't care or people who say negative comments about it or whatever that might be.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't care. But I do care. But I know that I shouldn't care.
It's very easy for someone like me to be like, Jay, just do it, right?
Yeah,
but I
exactly.
think like when you're the person who is taking on this really big endeavor, that mental block is so debilitating. It's like a fucking prison,
Yes.
right? And I know what you mean, and I'll never be like, Jay, just get over it. Because when I started to create content, right, like I had those fears too.
Yeah.
Like, what if people don't agree with what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the irony in that is that you only get over that once you face it.
No, yeah, I agree.
And I think you know that too.
I agree, yeah.
But yeah, that's why it's like a tug of war.
I will say the way I've realized I'm getting over it is just doing this podcast, because Jesse and I will make clips and people will say stuff about them, or people will say stuff pertaining to the podcast, not even just in the comments, but like Jesse says, the people who don't like it, it's not for them.
Yeah.
And the people that do like it, it's for them, whether or not it's 1 fan, 2 fans, 0 fans, 100 fans. It's not for the people who don't like it. It's not for those people.
Brad asked me when I first started this. He asked me, "Why don't you promote this on your personal like social media?" And I said, "Because I don't care about the people in this area. Not that I don't care about y'all. It's like
Reword that one more time. One more time.
I am not. Okay, the answer to that is I am not worried about the few in this area, because like the few in this area counts for maybe like a couple hundred, right? What is that? I'm not, my audience is not you guys. That's why your opinion of me, your opinion of this, it does not matter to me, because I'm trying to appeal to people in us from all over the globe. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why am I fishing in this little pond if I could fish in the ocean?
I don't know if you guys know who Mel Robbins is, but
Yes.
she had this podcast and she said that the content you make on social media is not for your friends.
Exactly.
Right? It's for the outreach that you have the possibility to take on for like the people who don't know you. And that's actually your audience. You know, your audience are not your friends. And I think when people start at social media, whether they want to do a podcast, they want to do YouTube or whatever, I think they get fixated on, oh, are my high school friends that I haven't talked to in 10 years who still follow me are going to fuck with this.
Yeah.
And that's so like, nah, brother, don't do that. So yeah, I agree with what you're saying on that, about how like you're not wanting to promote this because, for example, on Instagram, it's basically people that you know, that know
Exactly.
you, right?
Exactly. The people
so-
this it's like this. The people that will support you will find you.
Yeah.
And my
Yeah.
friends who will support me will find me.
Yeah.
Right? The ones that don't want to support me,
Then don't. Yeah.
that is fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not promoting on my personal on my personal Instagram right now, because you know why? Because I don't care. Because at the end of the day, I don't care if this blows up. I don't care if this dies.
yeah.
Like, okay, actually this ties into my answer when of your thing.
Yes.
My new outlook on I actually changed this recently in the last year. My whole outlook on life. My future, I don't give a damn about my future.
Okay.
Like,
Explain.
okay, so like I think people spend so much time dwelling on their future, trying to like worry about what I want to do. I want to do this. Am I meant for this place? Do I need to go here? I need to do this. I'm like, why? Why are you spending so much time thinking about your future where probably more than likely what you think is gonna happen doesn't even happen? Like you basically self-defeat yourself even before you begin. So I said, like, you know what? In order to stop doing that, just stop worrying about the future. I told my friends this, I told Jay this, I was like, think about the last 10 years of your life. Bro, my success rate in anything is 100%. Anything that I've ever done, anything I ever wanted to do, I got it done. In one way, shape, form, or fashion, it ended up benefiting me in the end. Whether it was being something taken away, whatever it was, I always had a success rate, whether I liked it or not. And in the end, if the outcome was not something that I liked at the time, it still benefited me. So I was like, if it was like that the last 10 years of my life, the rest of my life, I don't gotta worry about it. That's why I told my brother, I have no goals, I have no ambition. This sounds bad when I say that. I have no like objective. No, I just go through life, live in the moment. I do what I can do. Right now, I woke up today. I got a podcast today with my friends. I'm gonna do my podcast with my friends, edit it, put it out to see what happens. I'm gonna enjoy the moment. I'm gonna enjoy the process of doing it, and whatever comes, comes. I'm not worried about it because you know what? Everything will take care of itself. And like you could ask my brother. I'm a very decisive person. Like when I want to do something, I do it.
Sure.
Like I don't have that blockages of like self-defeating thought. Like I can't do this. Like I want to do this. All right, cool. I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna second guess myself. I'm just gonna do it. Like this podcasting, like my brother, I have friends tell me like you should do it. My mom said you should do it. All right, I'm gonna do it. So that's why that when I say that, like I would not suggest it to everybody. It's just for me that like it makes my life easier when I'm just not worried about the future. I just take it day by day, minute by minute. Worry about just today. What am I gonna do right now? All right, what I have planned later today, cool. And whatever comes tomorrow, comes tomorrow. Whatever the rest of it, I'll just don't worry about it. It'll
Okay.
take care of itself.
Angela?
Well, question for you.
Okay.
Did that happen because life events happened and then you decided to rework, relook in how you go about life? Or just like a conscious thing was like, F it all, let's try this out.
It was an observation amongst myself and other people because I'm a very perceptive people. I love watching other people's situations. I love the tea. I love the tea, you know? And so, and the reason why I like the tea is because I want to know other people's situations so I can self-reflect and learn from those and just like understand people better, you know? And what changed my thought process was like, why am I spending so much time thinking about this, thinking about that? And like, after some time, I said, dude, like, what was the point of me even worrying? What was the point of me even stressing about that? Like, it didn't even end up happening, or this didn't even happen. So I'm like, after doing that for like so many years and just kind of reflecting for so many years, I'm like, dude, why do I even do this to myself? So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stop. There's no point. And it was I guess it was just like you just adapted. It was nothing like out of this. It was basically a portion of my life that I was dwelled on for a really long time, for the last like decade of my life, that was like a very dwindling thing on my life. And I realized that I spent a lot of time thinking about my future, about that, right? And it's got to the point where I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not worried about it no more. I'm just gonna live my life, have a great time, enjoy it day by day, and it just kind of seeped into every portion of my life, and that's just my outlook on everything now.
So can I? So you kind of, because I'm trying to understand what you're saying, because I think it can help. So what Angela's asking, like, was it a conscious effort based on what you, on your experiences?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it was 100% conscious. Like, you know what? I'm gonna wake up. I mean, it's definitely it's not easy to do.
Yeah.
Because like it's just part of who you are to like whenever you approach something like to something simple as a guy, like a single guy going up to a girl, you start self-defeating. You're like, dude, what if you get rejected? What if this? But it's like every little situation you go through, the way that it seeps into every little thing is like you start with the foundation with that mindset, right? Like, all right, I'm just gonna live day by day, and everything, whatever situation comes with me, I'm just gonna like deal with it when I deal with it. I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah.
Right. And so like we just say something about like rejection, right? A lot of people have a problem being rejected or ghosted, correct? And in that situation, I was like, you know what? How am I gonna deal with this so that I don't have to worry about this? And you know what that is? I don't give a fuck what you think about me. I don't give a fuck what nobody thinks about me. That also helped with this podcast. Like, you know what? I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and these are my opinions. And what your opinion is, I don't give a fuck what you think. Because you know why? At the end of the day, I'm gonna still sleep. I'm gonna still eat. I'm gonna still live. I'm good. You know, what's your opinion of me? It don't matter. The only people's opinion of me that matters are the ones that are really, really close to me and my family. Like if my brother would say something to me, Reza, you or anybody say something like would try to check me, I'm like, all right, I need to check myself. But anybody else is probably they're just jealous or they're probably just like hating on me anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get to this point, this mentality, because in your 20s maybe you did have like goals and dreams and ambitions, and you found that you didn't like not being present because you always kept thinking, okay, what's the next move?
Bingo.
What's the next move?
That
What's
is-
the next move?
That is exactly it. And it was kind of a domino effect because you're so focused on like, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. When you set those goals, when I said don't set goals, the reason why I said don't set goals is usually when you set your goals, you're not going to always make them. Most of the times you're going to fail. That's just how life is. You're going to fail more than you succeed in life. And if you're going to keep failing, you start becoming like, damn, like I'm not good enough. Like, why do I keep failing? Why does this keep happening to me? And so how do you eliminate that? Just eliminate the whole entire thing in general.
I'm gonna say this. My dad recently told me something like this because what Jesse is explaining is I talked to my dad about some of these things, and he mentioned this because he knows I'm an overthinker. In the past, I've been overthinking a lot. I think a lot of it has to do with as I get closer to the big 3-0, all your 20 just flashes through your head like every day, and you're, oh, what's going to happen? It's just how it is. And my dad literally tells me, he's like, Jay, when I came to America, I did not have any idea what the heck I was doing. Because I came here, I was like, oh, I can work here. I'm going to just work here. Oh, this opportunity happened. I'm going to take this opportunity. Oh, I can do this. I can do this. He goes, I never thought so far ahead. Because I might have thought 2-3 months ahead. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, there was a time my mom and dad were like, yeah, we were about to go to New York. And then we're like, oh, can't go to New York. We're going to stay here. Oh, we got to stay here. Oh, maybe go to D.C. Nope, we're not going to D.C. Fine, screw it. And it was just like, they never thought too far ahead, and they just stayed as present as possible. And that's literally what they told me. I'm not gonna say I wish they told me sooner, but I'm not gonna say, yeah, I kind of wish they told me a lot sooner, because now them telling me that is a lot freeing. They're like, don't worry about the money like that, and be as present as possible.
Bro, you can always make more money. If money's your issue, don't worry about money. You can make more money.
Yeah.
The most scarce and most important currency that we have in this world is time, not money. You can always make more money. You could be dead ass broke today and you'll make more money tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And then think about it, like, if you dwell in the past only brings depression if you dwell in it. If you dwell in the future, it's only going to give you the anxiety. How do you eliminate both of them? Don't worry about the past. Don't worry about the future. Just worry about today.
And you mentioned Mel Robbins. I don't know if you watch a lot. And she talks about like indecisiveness or what's stopping you from doing things. She does something that I try to adopt a lot now. She's like, if you have a decision in front of you that you need to do, count back from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just do it.
The 5-second rule?
Yeah, the 5-second rule. It makes life so much easier. Like sometimes you'll painstake over, like Jesse knows, sometimes I'll be on Yelp trying to find some place to eat. I'll find something. I'm like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just go here. Screw it. Like it makes life so much easier. And yeah,
I use that method to start waking up early, because I used to wake up and I'm like, man, I'm in bed. and then I start counting down to 5. And by 1, I'm out of bed.
You're out of bed.
I'm out
It
of
helps
bed.
so much. You're like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just go.
I have another example of why another reason why I did this too, right? I think in my past, we'll take it to dating. A lot of guys, I know, fall victim to this, right? You start talking to a girl, you start getting attached, you really like them, and in your mind, you start coming up with scenarios. You start thinking about the future. Oh my God, like,
You
what is it gonna be like to
romanticize.
date this girl? Like, what are we gonna do this? Am I gonna be the parent? Like, all these things. You come up with all these scenarios with these women, right? Subconsciously, it affects how you act with that girl. Like, okay, as a woman, okay, I'm gonna ask Angela since you're here. This is perfect. Okay, you're talking to this guy, right? You like the guy. You could definitely tell the guy likes you. And all of a sudden, he's like really likes you. And he starts to become like really attached to you. He wants to hang out with you every single day. And you're like, dude, take a step back. Like, you're doing way too much and we're just starting, correct? That happens very often in the dating
Yes,
world, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
you can feel that, right? And because you come up with all these scenarios in your brain already, and you're basically like, because your mind is your reality. So if you're thinking about all these things, you're trying to make it into reality. And girls can feel that, and it's like a turn off, like, dude, this guy's getting way too attached. He's doing way too much. You just need to relax and chill pill. And it'll kind of like turn you off and kind of like make you run, because that's way too serious, way too fast. Correct?
Yeah. Yes.
So that's why I said, especially with like dating, that's like a perfect example. Like, stop worrying about the future. Just like worry about today. The whole like, what are we? Worry about what are we when what are we comes. Don't worry about what are we now.
Yep.
It'll come when it comes. And let it happen organically.
Yep.
As Angela said. Let it be organic.
Yep.
I think you know how it took you 10 years to.
But it took me more than that. I think it took me like 30 years to realize that.
So I feel like it's a learned thing. Everyone always talks about, yeah, let's be in the present. We can agree with that saying all we want, but to actually really focus on being here right now, you have to do something. Like you have to tell yourself every day, hey, look, what can I do today that's going to, make me happy, right? And I think a lot of people, and it's funny you say this, Jesse, because since I turned 30, my whole 20s is like flashed.
Same thing with him.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it has
And-
much, the closer you get to it.
About to turn 32?
Yeah, in like 5 months.
Yeah, it doesn't start hitting him
Is
until
your,
like
is your
this
20s
month.
flashing?
Actually, my 20s is flashing, but more so in the way of like, fuck yeah, I had a great fucking time.
Yeah.
I'm hella excited for my 30s because now I'm damn priming.
Yeah.
And like life is good.
Yeah.
So, yes, my 20s are flashing, and I'm sorry, but the way that I see it is I went through everything in my 20s, enjoyed it,
Yeah.
youthful as hell.
My
And then now
20s
it's like, dang, now I'm like even more ready.
Yeah.
So,
my 20s were very fruitful. I've had great relationships. I've traveled a lot. I went backpacking. Like, I had a great job. Everything was good, right? And I have to be honest, Jesse, I'm glad I'm hearing what you're saying just to give me a different perspective, because since I turned 30 last month, a lot of my thought process, I'm dead ass every day, I have been thinking, okay, I gotta level up financially, man, because I'm not just taking care of me anymore. I'm eventually gonna want a wife one day. I'm eventually gonna need to buy her a ring. I'm eventually gonna have to pay for a wedding. I'm eventually gonna have to buy a house, right? And all these thoughts seep into me, and I'm like, I'm not where I should be, and that's where the sadness comes, right? And the antidote to that is two things, right? One is being grateful. I always talk about being grateful because I really do think that a lot of people underestimate the ability of what it does when you literally every night before you go to sleep write down, I'm grateful for XYZ. That's an antidote that used to work on me in the past. Just lately, it's just been a little bit harder. But I think just constantly reminding myself that, yo, I'm good right now. I'm not living paycheck to paycheck, right? Like, everyone around me is taken care of. I'm just worried about the future people that I'm going to take care of, right? The future things I'm going to have to buy. And that's where the anxiety comes in. And needing to like come back to here, I'm putting all this pressure on myself. And I think that's why I've been kind of sad the past couple of weeks since I turned 30. It's because of that. So I'm really glad that you shared your perspective on how, we should think. I think what you're saying is on the spectrum for me, is on one side. Whereas like when you were like, oh, I don't have any goals, ambitions, I know what you mean by that. I know that you're not some couch potato.
Yeah, I want to do shit.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
I
like-
got you. I understand,
yeah.
completely understand. But I think for me, it's like the middle ground for me is to be able to, okay, Reza, what can you do today to get to where you want to go eventually, right? Like one step at a time. But anyways, sorry to digress. I think we want to hear Angela's
Angela and Brad.
answer.
Oh, all right.
You need to repeat the question. You good?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So there's something that you should or want to be doing right now, but you're not. What is stopping you?
Well, always it'll be me, myself, is who's stopping me to get
Yeah.
to where I want to be. What is something I want to do?
Like, have you ever thought, oh, maybe I want to start a athleisure brand one day? Or,
No.
Anything of that sort?
So the reason why what Jesse was saying was interesting for me was because until late, I didn't have goals. I didn't set things. I didn't care about the future, and I was very, what's today? And what is today for?
Present.
Yeah. And until I would say I turned 29, so like half a year ago, I realized, no, I need to look at life through the lens of what is tomorrow? Where do I want to be in 5-10 years? Make some goals. And so I think not my whole life was like that, but I definitely think for my 20s, I lived it like, who the fuck cares
Yeah,
about
yeah,
tomorrow?
yeah.
Like just to my fullest. And so for me right now, it is myself, because literally I'm trying to figure out, how do I get to being someone for my partner where we can both be sustainable, healthy, flourishing together? And because now I look at it from the lens of, I can't just live selfishly for myself and not give a damn. And so now it's trying to figure out, what are the things I can do to actually have a future and to have a foundation, a system in place that works not just for me, but the person I want to spend forever with.
What does that look like for you? Like, is there anything specific thing that you're willing to share?
Yeah, well, absolutely, of course. So things about myself that are keeping me from getting to where I want to be is my own, I would say, characteristics, certain things that I know about myself that I need to change. But growing up, I just always thought, like, it's just who I am.
It's Angela's world.
You accept me for who I am. Yeah, that's that. But you know what? Like, those are the flaws of you that you know are the hardest to work on and that you actually have to dig deep. And so currently I'm doing the work to be able to catch automatic behaviors where it's like, no, that's the old me and that doesn't serve me, because this is who I want to be.
Yeah.
So for one thing, it's definitely like my temper, for one. Like that's something like, no, like I'm a 29-year-old adult. I should be able to pick and choose when I want to react in a way that does not serve me. And then two, financial stability. Financially stable now, but in the future where I want growth, to grow a family, to have whatever. I'm not there. My partner is there. I'm not there. And so for me, it's like, okay, I need to get there. And by doing that, it's just like you were saying, what can I do today that gets me one step closer? So I think those two things, emotionally, like emotional intelligence, that's what I'm working on. And then like tangible financial goals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good answers.
Just to build off that, if you think about it, like if you're building like a house, right, a brick house, if you're looking at it from the outside, goes, damn, that's a lot of bricks I'm gonna have to lay. Like think about it from like I feel a lot of people like will just go imagine life like building a brick house. Like you become overwhelmed. Like that's a lot of time. That's a lot of like bricks. Like that's a lot of things I got to do to build that.
Yeah.
That's the wrong way to look. You got to look from a microscope. Because you know what? It don't matter. I'm just gonna go brick by brick and see what happens.
Yep.
That's basically under the analogy what I'm trying to say. Like when you live life, you say, you know what? Who cares how the house is gonna like? This is the vision. This is the vision. But you know how I get to the vision? I'm just gonna enjoy the ride and not worry about the difficulties.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go out there, put one brick at a time, and see where it leads me. How long it takes? Guess what? Because I can think of one perception, like me in my 30s now, one issue that I dealt with was like, dang, I'm so much more behind than everybody else. Then I realized I was like dude, why am I worried about me being behind everybody? I'm only behind because I'm using somebody else's life as a template of what I need to follow.
Yeah.
Then I realized, like, dude, like, why am I doing it? Why am I comparing myself to other people? Like, there's two things that I think every person, a young person or people in general should follow is A, don't compare yourself to other people, and B, don't give a fuck what other people think about you. You know why? I realized that when I snapped out, like, dude, I'm on my own timeline. I'm functioning in the time that I need to function in, right? I'm on time. I'm on my own time.
Yeah.
Right?
And
And like I
show
said,
up on a date with you.
yeah,
30 minutes late.
yeah. So and
Sorry,
like,
baby, I'm on my own time.
I will say this. Jesse is constantly actually trying to be more on time.
yeah.
It actually
Yeah,
is.
like I said, you build life brick by brick. You build a house brick by brick. You
Yeah.
build the life day by day. You don't worry about like fucking next week, 1,000, like 10 years from now. Everything will take care of itself.
That's actually how I get through prep. Like I've talked to her about it. I'm like, yo, I still got, at the time it was like 5 weeks left. I'm like, I feel like shit. I was like, how the fuck am I gonna get through this? Like I can't be doing everything that I'm doing, training, cardio, nutrition, sleeping, getting my steps in. I'm like, it's overwhelming when you think about how much time you have left. But then I literally just do it day by day. Like I perfect the things I need to do every day, and then I just wake up and just do the same shit over again.
Brett, I have a question.
Wait, do you want him to answer your question though?
I do,
Okay.
but I want to, before we get to that about prep, how much of this is your passion, right? Because I'm getting out of this idea that your passion is something that you have to love to do 24/7, right? Because I was looking for that all the time. I was asking myself, is there something that I can do and like to do that there's some parts of it that I don't like?
Yeah.
Right? I feel that with prep, it's hell, right?
Yeah, it can be.
And
Can be.
Toward the
like,
end, it's
just
not bad. For the
just
first-
like from the outside looking in, right? We see the chiseled cut
Adonis.
abs, right?
Adonis.
Right? Adonis. We see that, right? But unless you went through that or have experience with friends who went through that, we don't know how hell it is.
Yeah.
How much of this do you love, Brad? Like,
I mean, it started with
honestly.
just liking or loving training.
okay,
Like I've been training since I was like
like strength training.
strength training.
Okay.
Yeah, since like I was a freshman in
Yeah.
high school. So I'm 33. That's like 20 years or
Okay.
something. Like pretty consistently. Besides like getting injured or whatever.
You would say that you're not passionate about bodybuilding. You're passionate about strength training. Is that
Well,
is that a fair
the strength
assessment?
training is a focus on like
Okay, okay.
bodybuilding. Yeah, but I think I got like addicted to the results because you see like you look in the mirror, you're like, oh shit, like I dropped like 3
Sure.
pounds or whatever, and I look different. So then I was like, I got addicted to just seeing change,
Okay.
and then a little bit of it is knowing that like barely anyone can do this.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
like
yeah.
the idea knowing that like not many people can do what I'm doing right now. And still, there are days when I wake up, I stand up, I'm like, I'm fucking lightheaded. And I want to sit back down, but like, no, I need to get up. I need to go on my walk. I need to go eat, weigh my food, train, do cardio, even when I'm tired and I don't want to do it. Because those are the times you need to be doing that shit.
Are you passionate about competing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a hyper competitive person.
Yeah, I think so. I got into competing a little bit because I was big into football. Like, we played
Yeah.
flag football at
Yeah.
Mason and FXA and all that. And I needed something else.
Okay.
I needed something else to be competitive in because I think football,
just
I'm
outgrew it?
I'm just
Yeah.
reckless.
Yeah.
And I'll just lay my body out
Yeah.
and not care. But I'm getting older. I needed to find something that wouldn't
Okay.
wreck me as bad. And I feel like I just have to always be doing something competitive.
I have a remedy for that too.
What?
So you're talking about competitiveness, right? Jay knows I'm really competitive. Everybody here is competitive.
I think as a guy,
Yeah.
that's part of what makes you not a guy, but I feel like what makes you a guy is that competitive nature.
so
Just ego.
So then what's my competitive nature
I think
from? I'm kidding.
guys and girls are competitive.
You were an athlete before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
But-
'cause you have to think about it like every girl has guy traits and girl traits. Just like every guy has
Yep.
girl traits. Just the most
Oh.
biggest example.
Bring it science, yep.
Girls, what is one trait is emotional intelligence. Women are emotionally intelligent because that's a feminine trait. Men have emotional intelligence too. It's just to a lower degree.
I would say this. Everyone's competitive about stuff they care about.
Yeah. Earlier, I said that I think one of the biggest vices is when you start comparing yourself to other people, right? You are competitive. So when you are competitive, like outwardly, most people are competitive with other people. So you gotta like program yourself out of that and stop being competitive with other people. Be competitive with yourself. So you're able to build your life brick by or day by day when you're competitive with yourself. Say you just wake up and say instead of worrying about say, hey, I want to be better than Angela today. Right? Fuck this bitch. Like, I'm trying to beat her today. Nah, you got to be like, nah, I'm trying to beat me from yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, instead of like comparing yourself, just focus on being competitive with yourself and being a better person every day.
It's about progress.
I definitely do. I do both.
Yeah.
I definitely am competitive with myself, but then also I look at, honestly, this is probably, this is why I think I'm not shit all the time. I only compare myself to fucking Olympians. I'm like, damn, they're fucking like their genetics are so crazy. I'm like, I ain't shit. But then I also am like, okay, I need to be better than I was yesterday.
The comparison trap is only a deterrent to you if it stops you from doing.
No,
what
it
you're
actually just
gonna do.
motivates me.
Yeah.
Correct, which is
Yeah.
fine. I think a lot of people, for example, you guys know Alex Hormozy?
Yes.
Okay, he's a
He's a business guy.
he's a business guy, and
Business guy.
he was saying how we underestimate the amount of volume it takes to be successful. Like a lot of people feel like they go on 5 dates and they should find the love of their life. What if it takes 500 days? A lot of people want their podcast to blow up after the 10th episode. What if it takes 100 episodes? So we compare our chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 40, and we're like, like I get like that because when I'm editing content, I'm looking at people who I'm looking up to like cinematographers, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna be like that. So let me just not do it. And I got to that point before, but with you, Brad, I think it's great that your standard are Olympians, right? I think it's great that your standard are Olympians because I wouldn't want your standard to be those guys that's on stage with you. That's who you're trying to beat, right?
Yeah.
He
But-
is gonna beat him. What you talking about?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
Speak that shit into existence.
No
But-
negativity.
Manifest.
let's go back to the question at hand here. Yeah. So what do you feel like you should or want to be doing right now? What's stopping you?
So, like my hobbies are sports, bodybuilding, and then cars. You guys know is like a big one for me.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to start like a car YouTube channel, actually.
What's stopping you, bro?
Probably
Oh, some dumb shit. Go ahead.
probably fear of failure. And then I'm kind of like, y'all know that I'm like kind of shy.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it would feel having like, pointing the camera at my face and like
Ah,
talking into a camera
okay.
and all that shit.
I have a solution for you.
What?
Make it faceless.
Yeah, I know. I follow some car people that do that. They
The-
just do like POV perspective.
I'll say this about the shy thing. And it's weird because I guess it's not the same thing because I'm very comfortable in front of being like in the spotlight. I guess it's just whatever to me, but it's just the same thing as working out, dude. It's just reps.
Yeah.
Like the first time you walked in the gym, were you repping what you were repping?
No.
Yeah, it's just reps.
Yeah.
And it's dumb, right? Because I can tell you that, but from my end, it's probably the same thing. It's just everything in life is just reps. It's like what you're fearful of is always the solution is just reps. That's all it is.
Brad, I better
sure.
see a car YouTube channel in a
Yeah.
couple years, bro.
Hey, start
I've
it,
already
bro.
done so much to my car that I'm almost pretty much done with it. I'd have to.
There will
like,
always
start
be
a
another
new-
car.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'll probably always be doing something.
Exactly.
So that's so lit,
Like with
man.
cars.
Bro, there's your answer.
Yeah.
And I know there's a huge audience.
Why don't you
too.
just make it about just your life in general and just
I could do like bodybuilding too.
yeah, just like I said, there's a guy I follow. His name is Naval Ravikant, and he says that to be the best at one thing is very, very hard. But if you're
A jack of all trades.
good, yeah, if you're good at multiple things, then you are the best at doing those multiple things. Because most people don't have multi-talented skills. Because a lot of people are like, oh, you should focus on one thing. But like if you have a bunch of hobbies and you're trying to build like a personal brand, they're like, oh, you like cars, you like bodybuilding.
I only follow one guy he's competed before and he does cars.
Yeah.
But he mainly does cars now, but he's done some, workout videos and bodybuilding stuff.
And his perspective is different than yours. So how you're gonna say something is different than how he's gonna say something. How he So it's gonna be completely okay.
Yeah.
This is the same stuff I try to tell myself. That's why I can say it.
But Brad, no, you should definitely just start it,
Yeah.
bro. I'm not gonna lie, like so I guess this podcast is kind of related since like it's basically saying like a camera in your face and like,
Right.
bro, low key, I'm shy too. Bro,
Everyone's shy.
Everybody's shy.
Everyone's shy when they first do
But
stuff.
like I'm telling you,
Yeah.
like the first time when like Reza was here for the first one, like I was like, oh shit, the camera about to go on. Like I was like, oh shit, I'm nervous. But I was like, after a while, like once you get into it, like a while, like you've had a camera on you all day. You feel shy right now?
Nah, because I feel like just us talking.
yeah.
Just treat
It's
you
different.
You have to treat it the same exact way. But you know what? This is gonna go on the World Wide Web. Just like if you start a YouTube channel, it's gonna go on the World Wide Web. What's the difference?
Yeah, you're right.
I also feel like it's a good thing that you want to do that because it shows your personality versus not saying like when you do post your TikTok clips and it's just like you flexing or with music on top, people
Yeah.
don't know who you are as a person. Even if you're like, oh, I'm shy, it's like that, but that's there's more to you than that. Like there,
Right.
you have a personality, you have something you can offer. So
I'm shy, but here's my abs.
No, I contemplate posting some of the videos.
I know,
I'm like,
dude. I know.
I think I've talked to you about it.
Yeah, you
I'm
talk
like,
to me about it all the time, and
Yeah.
it's like, I think the shyness is actually coming from like, again, I cannot speak for myself, but I know you might relate. The shyness for me when I was on camera, a lot of people would always say, "Oh, you're." When I tell them that it takes me 20 takes sometimes to do some of the content that I do, it's because I'm thinking, okay, is the other person who is watching this going to understand what I'm saying? Are they going to judge that I have curls on my forehead? Because are they going to judge that like shit that probably doesn't even like matter, right? Because everyone is too busy thinking about themselves, man.
Yes.
For sure.
So I always tell myself that whenever I get too down on like, oh, I didn't say this word correctly, or oh, like this angle is not right. No one gives a fuck, right? But anyways, I'm not here to like push you to do the car YouTube. You do it on your own time, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Don't be
What?
shy.
Oh.
Don't be shy.
But you know what people say, like you're talking about like the perfection stuff. There's a saying people like perfection is just procrastination.
Yeah, they're like, oh, unless
I
the
feel like I
conditions
have
are
to
perfect.
Do shit perfect.
And you know what?
Yeah.
I am the same way, and I realize it will never be perfect. And then nothing will ever be perfect. There's gonna be something wrong, and then guess what? You just iterate and you improve that next time. And like we're talking about posting content. That's why I post those random stupid TikToks because I'm like,
croissants?
yeah,
I
it's
look
just
forward to those though.
yeah, it's just like trial by fire. I was like, oh, it sucks. Whatever. It's like it goes out in the ether, and then someone else said, what's the last TikTok you watched, and do you even remember what it was? I'm like, nope.
That's true.
And that's what everyone's like. And then once you put that in your head, you're like, no one's gonna remember this probably, so screw it. Boom.
Yeah.
You know, the perfection syndrome is actually, my therapist told me, was a trauma response. And I was like, okay, explain. So during the early stages of my therapy sessions with this person, she asked me, what was something about your childhood where you felt like you weren't seen unless you did something correctly? And as with most Asian kids, if I didn't bring home straight A's during report card day, my mom wouldn't talk to me.
Yeah.
I brought home a B one time, and she didn't talk to me for like 2-3 days.
Dang.
So, and you guys know I love my mom, and I think she meant well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because to her, education is like the way to be successful,
Mm-hmm.
because that's her reality, and she made that my reality. And ever since that day, I brought home that B. She didn't talk to me. I felt like I wasn't worthy of anything unless I was perfect at this thing, which is school.
Mm-hmm.
So growing up, I felt like if I wasn't perfect on my content, if I wasn't perfect with my friends and my relationships, that I wasn't worthy of being seen. So it's a lot of unlearning you have to do. I'm not saying that that's what happened to you, but the perfection being procrastination. If perfection is like disguised as procrastination, it's because you're sitting there and you're like, the conditions aren't perfect for me to start this thing, so I'm just going to wait.
I think another thing is I've had some success with like building my social media before in the past.
Yeah.
That now I'm like, fuck.
I have
Like,
to do it all
like,
over again.
Am I gonna post this? Is it even gonna do well? Like I
Yeah.
constantly think about shit like that. I'm
Yeah.
like, does it even matter? Like, should I post it? Should I not?
Yeah.
Like, is it gonna do well? Basically, is what goes through my head.
I think that, okay, let me comment on that. You have to, it's about consistency. It's not about one thing. It's about, so you say like one post, just fucking post it.
Yeah.
Like just like every day, just post something. If you want your social media below, if you do it, you got to keep doing it every single day. And guess what? If you do it every single day, it's a numbers game. One of them, a couple of them, two of them, three of them are gonna pop off.
Yeah.
But if you keep second guessing, so like, you know what? I don't want to post this today. I don't want to post that today. Guess what? You end up never posting. You end up only posting like 2 or 3
Remember I told you about the
videos.
picture?
Yeah.
I didn't want to post it because I was like, I did not do it.
Brad,
Bro,
I
just
remember,
do it.
Brad, I remember, Brad, we learned this from you. That's the crazy thing. Because when you were blowing up, or yeah, a couple years ago when you were blowing up, you were posting more than you posting 3 times a day. Remember?
I
Yeah.
don't think so. No, I thought it was like 3 times a week.
No,
No,
3 times
you
a
did-
day.
Sometimes
You were
twice
3
a
times
day.
a day, or 2 to 3 times a day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes. You were like, yo, I post at 8 or like 9 a.m. Then I'll
I
post
had
at
like
1
a formula.
and 5.
And it worked sometimes.
Yeah, and then you were pumping. You just kept pumping like constantly.
Yeah.
So like you know the answer. You have your own answer.
Everything you do now, like you have to give your audience something to binge, right? So like one video is gonna pop off, they're gonna go to your page and they're gonna see, oh, this is what Brad does. They're gonna see everything that you do. Now, in terms of like social medias, I think could be another talk for another day. But I think we're talking about the mental blocks of social media, and I think everyone goes through it. I'm sure even today, when Jesse or Jay look at their podcast, I'm sure there's some things they're like, oh, this didn't go right, But I love that you guys are posting so consistently. I love it every day when I see you guys have a new post. It's just, this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Brick
you know?
by brick.
Dude,
This
literally
is what we
the
doing.
clips,
Brick
I
by
just
brick.
ripped through them. I'm just like, dude,
Yeah.
screw it, whatever. Because before it took like so long. I'm like, yeah, this text is not right, blah 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 blah. And now I'm just like, just burning, just blasting.
I'm sure
through
the
it.
hardest part about the clips that you post is actually going through this 2-hour long talk and finding like, okay, which one is going to be funny or entertaining, da 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 da. I'm sure that's probably the hardest part.
Yeah. Yeah.
But people don't see that.
Yeah,
you
people
know?
don't care as
People
much
don't
as they
give a fuck.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So
Wait, Angela has something to say.
I don't remember what I have to say. But one question that I did have is, do you think it's the amount of work, and that the amount of work that it would take for your YouTube channel? And is
That's-
that like a blocker?
Yeah.
Understanding
Doing like
that
all this
element.
work and then it be for what? But I've heard from like, or watched other YouTubers, they say like, you don't need to,
Yeah.
you shouldn't do it
You know
to
the
try
answer
to
to
blow
that.
up.
Yeah,
You need to do it just
you know
because
the answer to that.
Yeah.
Just because you like to do it. Right?
Yeah.
So
What you just said is exactly why I did this. Like honestly, I could give a shit about blowing up. What I care about, like these type of conversations, like I feel like every single of these episodes that I shoot, afterwards I go away like, damn, I learned something today. I leave every single one of these episodes feeling so fulfilled, having be able to have these type of conversations. And then when I go back and I'm edit these videos and I watch what people say and I really take it in, I'm like, damn, that was deep. And I take it back. Like in the moment you may forget, but like it's always like when I go back and watch it, because when I edit this, I watch it like maybe 2 or 3 or maybe 4 or 5 times.
I learned that you guys are not that much different from me in terms of what we think about. Like I told you about how when I turned 30, I would think about the future so much, about how to make sure that I create something sustainable for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And you told me your experience about how you had these thoughts at once in your life. Angela saying that, oh, I feel that way too. So sometimes you don't want to feel alienated. I'll be just kicking it at home, man, and just like, is anyone else going through this? Like, as if I'm this like special person who is the only one that has the ability to struggle. But it's a good reminder that, I'm not alone. And if I ever want to hit y'all up and be like, hey, I'm feeling this way, that you guys could probably have some empathy for me.
I have one question then for you 3 that are about to hit the big 3-0. All right, I'm sure you guys have anxiety. Me and Brad don't count because we were past that shit. Suckers.
it's another year.
All right.
Whatever.
Since you guys are about to hit 30, and
Or have hit 30.
yeah, since you guys are about to hit 30 or already did hit 30, what is something that you would like tell yourself 10 years ago when you're about to hit 20, or somebody else is about to hit 20 or in their younger 20s? What is a piece of advice you would give to them?
Invest in Ethereum.
Take your credit seriously.
Okay.
Just go for it.
Yeah.
Just don't think. Just go for the things that wait. the things that you go for now, take that same energy toward everything. Because when you said you were 20, I just lived every day like it was, and I did the same, except the things that I actually cared about. And I did not take that same energy there, and so I was like, you know what, you gotta just take that same energy, be consistent with everything in your life. Just go for it. Just go for it. Who cares? Just go for it. But just to hindsight it, I would not tell my 20-year-old self that, actually, because that 20-year-old self is not gonna listen.
Oh, true.
I would tell my mom and dad that when I'm 5 something. I'm like, yo, tell him to go for it when he's a kid.
Okay.
That's it.
What about you, Brad? If you were to give a young person that's 20 years old, around 20 years old, advice, what would it be?
Just in general?
It could be anything. Whatever, just something that you would say, hey, Brad, what's your advice?
Damn.
It could be to yourself too when you were 20.
I mean, I wouldn't have done the master's program. That's the only thing I would have told myself, don't do it. It's not worth it.
I think mine would be there are no guidelines that you have to follow. Like we grow up in a society where they make you feel like, you know, right after high school, you got to go to college, and then you have to get a job, and then you should get married, and then you should have kids, and then you should have just typical American dream, right?
Yeah.
And I think as being first gen here, I was raised to believe that. So I think the advice would be like, no. And kind of what you're going through with your life right now, none of that matters. You'll get to where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to. But like just do life as you feel and the happiness that you find.
Be
I
present.
think that'd be
100%.
Be
100%.
present.
Yeah.
Yeah. You own your own pace.
Yeah.
I think if I want to be like if I had my mid-20s Reza right here, I would tell him to try
Yep.
everything that you've ever had interest in. Try it, right? Because I think I'm doing that now in the past year and a half, and even though I don't think I found what I really love yet, I at least know what I don't like, and that's also a big step. And number 2, date women that like you. Yeah. No, you guys laugh, but it's true. Like,
Okay, that's true.
we tend to we're so fixated on dating girls that we like,
Yes.
right? But you forget, hey, date women that like you,
Yes.
and that's such a different mindset to be in, because as men, we are programmed to be like, hey, look what I can do for you, like me. But it's the opposite. I have a lot to bring to the table too, right? And so yeah, that's that when it comes to dating. Date girls that like you, and that's very profound. and number 3, and the last thing I would tell this person is, man, it's really easy to say don't care about what people think, but the only way to get around that is to do the thing, is to have something that you care about that's bigger than what other people would think about you, right? So if you are pursuing something like mental health for men is huge for me. And I've never been brave to talk about it because I didn't want people to think that I'm some like know-it-all or that this is like a very feminine thing to talk about, right? And now that I know that, this is a big issue. I talk to a lot of guys, a lot of men in my circle in their 30s now, late 20s, that wish that they took care of their mental health sooner, that wish that they had someone to like guide them. I didn't have that, right? And I think a lot of the reasons why we care so much about what people think is because we just don't have anything that we're doing that is bigger than that. It's bigger than ourselves, right? So I think I would tell that 20-year-old those 3 things. But, in hindsight, I'm glad that my 20s became how it was, because I don't think I would be as wise as I am today. I mean, I don't think any of you guys would regret anything that happened. Like, Brad, I know you mentioned about...
That's probably the only thing I regret.
Which is getting your master's?
Even like, even like relationships, I would keep all of them, even the ones that hurt, because I feel like it builds character.
Yeah, just the masters, huh? But, but okay, let me challenge you on that, right? The Brad at that time felt like that was necessary for him to catapult into whatever it is that you thought you wanted to do at that time.
Right.
And then you figured out, damn, this didn't pan out. what was the other option at that Brad? Like at Brad at that age, what was the alternative? Rather than, I mean, in hindsight now you can say,
Yeah.
yeah, don't
I
do
don't
it.
think I did.
Yeah,
That was the next step
That
that,
was the
I
next
thought
step,
I needed.
right? Yeah,
I
but-
needed to do.
yeah. Like Angela said, there's no template, right? Like there's nothing that you did in your 20s that I'm sure. I know you say you regret getting the masters, but I would like to say that, hey, I think you were supposed to get that.
And low key, that's why I said that, like, no matter what you do in your life, because earlier in this podcast, I said that if you look at the last 10 years of your life, everything worked out for you. Even at the moment you thought it was bad, like you said, like you regret your masters. It didn't matter if you got your masters or not. Everything still worked out for you. You still breathing. You still doing good, bro. You can go to this, even though you're on prep. You can easily go to the store and like, what you craving right now? Go get it. You want a waffle? Go get a fucking waffle. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. Everything worked out for you. Everything works out for everybody, and that's why I said nobody should ever worry. Don't worry about your future. It'll take care of itself, bro.
When's your competition in
2 weeks and then 3.5
in
for
Pittsburgh?
the big one.
Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get that Thai food with you, bro.
The what?
I'm
The
trying to
Thai
get that
food?
Thai food with you, man.
Oh
Yeah.
hell yeah!
Oh.
Don't worry, we'll get it.
We go.
Hey,
I'll get it multiple times. Don't matter. I can never get sick.
Hey man, you're right about that. But I mean, I'm saying one last thing, and you said about mental health. Just want to let everyone know that mental health isn't like, I feel like you're talking about men's mental health, and as guys, we think we should have it like solved instantly, but it's not true. It's like it's an ongoing thing. It's
Yeah.
like your mental health is like a physical health. It's not like one day you're like, I'm perfect. I don't have to worry about this anymore. You have to worry about it every day.
It's just I feel like there's so much stigma around like men going to therapy, men like talking openly about what it is. And maybe it's easier for me because I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I've always been that way, right? I've never been one to repress my emotions. Like if you guys want to hear something from me, you'll get it from me. And I want to always promote, this positive culture by letting, especially men, because mental health isn't gender specific, right? Both genders should always take care of it. And I would like to argue that's the first thing you should take care of. Everything else will follow. But I've always believed that, when girls go to therapy, it's like, all right. But when I remember one time, bro, I was like, yeah, I'm in therapy. There was nothing wrong with me. Nothing was going on. I just go because it's important to have a third impartial party to listen to, like, how you think. And this ex-former friend was like, are you depressed? Like, why does something have to be wrong with me for me to seek out help, right? Professional help. And I want to break that stigma because the best thing I can do for everyone around me, you guys included, is to be the best version of me. And I don't think I can do that unless up here is right. That's why I go to therapy. That's why I do the content that I do. That's why I do XYZ. And, I don't go and announce this stuff, right? I just told you guys, obviously. But, that's the goal, man. And I always preach it, whether people will get sick of hearing it or not. It's going to be something that I wholeheartedly believe in because it's going to sound super corny and cheesy, and I'm sorry, but I do want the world to be a kinder place, right? And I think the only way we can make that happen is if we take accountability to be nice to ourselves first. We say a lot of self-deprecating thoughts to ourselves, don't we? So
Before we end, I would, Reza, you did say that you think that E can save world peace, correct? Let's end on that note. Explain why you think that, and we can end it there.
I think that E has the ability to, because what happens on E is that the receptors in your brain get like flooded with like serotonin, right? Like you guys obviously know that, anyone knows. I think that if it's used in moderation, and if the U.S. didn't Schedule 1 it, it has medicinal purposes because it lowers inhibitions that let people block thoughts about themselves that aren't great, right? For the research that I did for the PTSD veteran folks, they say that the sessions of NBMA allowed them to see the world in a positive light rather than the life that they lived when they were on the battlefield. that is like the extreme, right? For us, we're not at war
With
on the
ourselves.
battlefield. Yes, but we're we're at war up here, right? And I think if I think if everyone was given like, just small little dosage, I think when we are at raves and we're all nice and kind to each other, is it wrong for me to want to believe that that's the world that I would like to live in all the time? And
Blur.
of course, it's not.
Blur.
It's not. But not gonna happen. But when we're raving, right? We're at these shows and we're on that stuff. If I asked you guys, isn't this nice? Wouldn't it be cool if it was like this all the time? Like,
You're right.
Yeah.
right? Even for that 2-3 hours of bliss,
Yeah.
right? Wouldn't it be nice to want to be here all the time?
But
But that's not the case.
I will say this. One of my coworkers told me this recently. We can end after this. He said he's a Caucasian male and he loves Asian food. And he told me this. He said he looked me dead in the eye. It was very random. He said, there's 3 things that can cause world peace. He goes, it's food, music, and dance, and that's all people need. That's all. That's it. And that's raving basically, minus the food.
So,
but
I don't want to. I want to say sorry. One last thing. I say that I'm not like I don't want to seem like a fucking addict, but just what E has been able to show me that your brain is capable of doing without the inhibitions, like
Call your mama.
that's my perspective on it, and I do recognize that living in that world all the time is not realistic, but it would be nice.
Wake and pop.
Okay.
all right, buddy.
Wake and pop.
Every day.
All right, guys.
If
We're
someone's
not
angry,
condoning that. We're not condoning that.
we don't condone drug usage.
All right. Any final thoughts, Angela?
No?
Final thoughts, Brad?
No, that was good.
All right.
It's really good.
Dang, we got lost there, but thank you guys so much
Yeah.
for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed our wonderful guest, Reza, back from LA, old friend Angela, and our boy from Texas, Brad.
Everyone wish him luck.
He gonna take it, Pittsburgh.
Next
He gonna
time he's
take
on,
it.
he'll be a pro.
But when people see this episode, it's already gonna be put after the show. So
After?
after the show.
Okay.
So, anyways, we'll catch you guys next time.
Peace.
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 Bye.